opinion, based on my experience, tools are not so important because tools can be used in a good way or wrong way. What is important, I'm sure we agree with that, is our goals. As teacher, all of us, we have the same goals. I'm sure we want to be fair in grading. We want to be consistent when we grade an assessment, like an assignment. We want to grade fast enough to return the grade to the students in a short amount of time. We want also the students can maybe learn from the errors, because that help them to deep learning the concept. And also maybe we want to have more, maybe more details, information about which component of our course can be changed and why. So now all the tools you suggested are great, and I think I also use some of the idea, but I would like to talk today about the experience, my experience in using the tool called Gradescope. Maybe I already introduced this in my previous talk. So Gradescope is now free, available at Rutgers, if you are from Rutgers. And I started to use about 5 or 6 years ago, because I wanted to reach all these goals, to grade in a consistent way, fast, making sure students learning, and also because I wanted to have more details, information about which portion of the course I should improve. So I'm telling you that because I want also to say that I'm continuously open to find new tools for improve my course, for improve the evaluation for the students, the assessing of the students. So whatever tools is available, I will evaluate and will see how I can incorporate in my teaching style, in my teaching philosophy. So the goals and the teaching strategy are much more important than tools. However, in my context, in my teaching philosophy, and in my approach based on active learning, Gradescope helped me greatly a lot, because helped me to empower my teaching style. And so I want to talk today about how that happened and when this happened. So I would say that, so for example, I'm talking about Gradescope as a unique tools that help me to reach all these three goals. So grading better and faster, engaging students, especially if you have a large size classes, have the ability to engage students where you are grading. It's a huge achievement, because it's very difficult that people can be engaged by using grading, but there is a chance we can. In this, I will show the example. And also at the same time, we are using these tools for assessing. So so I started to use this a long time ago. I told you 5 years ago, because I had challenges on doing this activity. And when we 2 years ago we moved from in person to online, I heard a lot of concern about, how can we address students now in large classes in STEM, because I'm from engineering. All this moving from person to online create a lot of anxiety among my colleagues. But I can tell you that I was pretty ready, because this tool, Gradescope, allows you to keep the same format of your quizzes, either if you are in person or online, no changes. So because this is a very, I would say, smart platform, that it's really one of the big things that I like it. But before going into details and talking about grading, I want to like uh, remind the difference between Canvas and Gradescope in case you are not a Gradescope user and you are listening this word for the first time today. So I want to tell you that Gradescope is a platform, digital platform, only focused on grading. In Canvas, if you use Canvas, which is a learning management system, you can um, create modules, pages to upload your course material. You can create assignments. You can post your recorded lecture, your notes. You can also have a small portion of Canvas which is devoted for grading. For example, you can have a multiple choices quizzes that you can grade with speed grader, or multiple choice quizzes that are automatically graded. So there is a small portion in Canvas that is devoted to Gradescope, but it's not so detailed. It's not so refined and so performing so effectively the way Gradescope does. So in that sense, I think Gradescope is an empowerment of the quiz portion in Canvas. So why I'm using Gradescope now? I think now after Gradescope was integrated in Rutgers software, everyone can use for free, and all the students will have the Gradescope integrated in Canvas, which is a huge, let's say, a huge benefit. When I started to use Gradescope 5 years ago, Gradescope was not already available as a official tool, so I was using as a trial version. And even if I enjoy the benefit of fast grading, grading in a consistent way, but I remember that was a little bit creating some I would say students, they like it, but they like much more now, which is integrated, because they perceive that it's kind of a unique component of Canvas. So, and I would like to encourage you to try to use the tool in case you are a Rutgers and you are free available. But again, the tool is not so important. It's important the way you strategize your course and how this tool can help you to improve your strategies. And now I want to talk about the way I try to achieve all this goal. And I already introduced Gradescope. I'm using Gradescope for grading, but I want to show you actually how we can use in practice. So the next slide, I'm showing you a screenshot from one of my quiz. So you can see on your left side a scanned copy of a quiz of the student with his or her handwritten solution. And on the right side, you can see problem one in a class of 108 students. This is in a class of 108, and rubric. So the rubric is a customizable rubric that I created to grade this specific question of this quiz. So the rubric can be created the way you want. So I like to use a strategy where I outline all the steps needed for the solution of the problem. And so for each correct step, I give students 1 point, or do 2 points, or 3, depending on the step. I can also use the rubric to allocate partial credit to the students. For example, if the students try to accomplish that step but make some, let's say, minor mistake, I still give some partial credit. This is not the only way to use the rubric. You can also use the rubric in a negative way, in the sense that you can deduct point for each mistake. So maybe that is a more visible for students to see where the students make a mistake. But the reason why I prefer the positive approach, because in that layout, not only you give them the idea of where they lost points. In case you give a partial credit, they understand that it's the point where they did correctly. But in this approach with the step by step, with the rubric that follow the step by step solution process, you can also create learning experience for the student, who can actually see what will be the ideal process for solution. And so that is the reason why I think is a learning experience. But I want to tell you that there is also another way to use the rubric. And I heard that the computer science department at Rutgers is using the rubric where I think computer science and math. So actually they use a optical scan tool that is available within Gradescope that automatically is recognizing the handwritten statement and calculation of the students, and can associate, can understand what the students brought, and recognize if it's a correct answer or not. So I think that approach for grading, which is a very let's say advanced, can be used especially when you have math, like calculus or computer science problem, where actually you already know what is the right answer, but you don't want to use the multiple choice, right? So that is a very another way to use the grading rubric. When I started to show my Gradescope approach for grading to my colleagues, I remember someone told me, Annalisa, are you sure this is saving time? How much time do you spend for creating a rubric? This is quite much for me. I don't want to do so. And then I want to tell them and you that actually it is not taking a lot of time to create the rubric. First of all, because you, even if you start from scratch, but obviously you know the process of solution, so maybe it takes maybe 50 minutes maximum. But today, after 5 years I'm using Gradescope, I create a rubric in less than 2 minutes. Why? Because I most of the time reuse old rubrics, and I adjust and adapt depending on the current problem. This is why, because I'm covering the same topic, and the solution process to solve problem in dynamics, in mechatronics are similar, the same. So it's just a small time for you to adjust the rubric. So this is not too much time consuming. So another things I want to tell you is another reason why I like to use this approach for grading is because in my classes like dynamics, most of the time problem can be solved with different approaches. So it's possible for us to create multiple rubric within the same solution, within the same window. Yes, you can see here. This is an example of a problem in dynamics where we have to apply conservation of mechanical energy for a system which is a rigid body, because there are dimensions, the size of the items, and that is I would say the best solution process. However, some students also try to solve the problem using the Newton's second law combined with kinematics for rigid body, and this is also a very let's say correct approach. However, in order for us to grade consistently, I create two rubric, one using the approach based on the energy, one using an approach based on Newton's second law. And in this, you can see on the right side of the bar, there are two approach A, energy and rigid body, approach B, Newton and kinematics. So if you this is a screenshot now, I cannot show you what is inside, but if you click on the button number 2, you will see a new rubric will be displayed. So that it's really useful, because whatever solution process the student decide to use, you have ready a rubric which is consistent, which is fair, and allow you to grade quickly. Another things I want to say is about, as anticipated, you can use the same format of the quiz, open-ended question with math, base, and handwritten statement from the student, either if you are online or in person. When I was online last semester, I asked students to submit their paper. So the student, they took the quiz online, they solved the quiz on a paper sheet, and scan it or create picture of the work, and then they uploaded this quiz on Gradescope. You see on your left side of the screen that I highlighted the student, means that the student can submit the work. And that is perfect for online classes, so I don't need to change nothing about the format. The format of the quiz is still the same. However, I can do also the same things when I am in person now, when I was in person before the pandemic. And this is what you see on the right side of the screenshot. So the instructor can scan the student paper and upload them. Now, I'm sure a lot of people will say, oh, how much time you spend for scanning, uploading, all these things? A lot of time. And then if you spend a lot of time, you are kind of destroying the benefit of fast grading. I can tell you that we don't spend a lot of time in scanning and uploading this material. To give you an idea, when I have final exam for my dynamics class, it maybe 250 students, 300 students, and I only have 40 hours for grading, I take maybe 2 hours, maximum 3 hours to scan all the finals and to upload in Gradescope and to associate them to the single assignment to each student. How this is possible? That is possible because the tool is prepared to do so. And I want to show you that first of all, you are scanned like a group of paper, and then you see in this page I submit several PDF file, and after that there is a button called Manage Scan, where the Gradescope recognize what is the first page of the exam. The first page has two fields, the field of the name, student name, and student ID. By using the optical scanner, Gradescope is able to recognize the first page of each assignment, so that if you have like a bulk of 20, 30 assignment, the Gradescope it's able to recognize the first page of each of them, and then can split this large PDF file in 20, 15, whatever assignment. So can you see here on the right side, you have 10 active assignments, 10 active submission created automatically. And then you can see one submission that has about 12 pages here. And so in that way, you scan it, create the assignment. The next step is how can you associate each assignment to the student? How do you know how to make this association? So no worry, because again here, Gradescope use again the artificial intelligence and is matching the ID reading on the paper. So what you see here on your left side is the portion of the text, of the cover of the text, where I ask students to put name and ID in a handwritten form. And what you see on the right side is the way Gradescope is using this information with this optical scanner and recognize the net ID and associate this to the ID that we have in the roster. In this way, the assignment is made automatically, and we know that students with this ID had this assignment. Okay, all of this happen in not less than 2 hours for a large size class. So I go to the machine room, I scan all the papers, I upload several PDF file on Gradescope, which automatically split the the PDF in assignment and associate to the right student. So very fast. And so that is kind of reducing all the time that you think we needed. No, not only a few hours to doing so. Once you uploaded this, you can start to grade using the rubric that I show you. But another reason why I'm using Gradescope is because I have a class where I have a group submission, and so I can use the same benefit of the multiple rubric or a clear rubric also for group submission. I know that group submission is also available in Canvas, but then in Canvas you don't have the flexibility of the rubric as we have in Gradescope. So that is another reason why Gradescope is great. And it's suitable with my approach because I think group work is an important part of the learning process. Now I want to talk about how, still using the same tools, you can increase student engagement. How you can making sure that students don't feel so stressed about grading, about the exam. How can you transform the grading as a, I don't want to say like easy things to do, but like a learning process where not too stressful, not too difficult, like an integral part of the learning process. And so now I want to talk about the way I'm using Gradescope. As you see here, I think I already anticipated that the fact that we have a grading rubric which follow the step-by-step solution allows students to see what is the best way to solve a problem. So that helps students to learn more. However, if you see in this slide, I also included some comments. So in addition to have fixed, let's say a flexible rubric, customized rubric, which is the same for all the students, you can also add a specific comment to the student. For example, if you see this yellow comment, it's a comment I give to the students to explain that some things was missing in this problem. Here I don't see the reference system. So you can include also individual comment. So that is really great for learning. And one of the things I want to tell you is, in order the student to feel really involved in the class and feel engaged, supported by you, everything you do in class is important, but also the way you offer him the opportunity to request to regrade the quiz is important. Some students are shy, they don't ask for nothing, but other students are more assertive. They maybe come to you and say, oh, I think this quiz deserves more points. But if you offer them like a space for automatically submit the regrade request in a quick and easy way, everyone can do, even people who are shy, don't do. There is a button called regrade request here, and in the next slide you see the student brought for me this message. The student request in your right side asked me to regrade this portion because he thinks I missed it, to understand a portion of the solution. So now I want to show you more information about why the Gradescope allows for fast grading. Essentially, Gradescope is pushing you to grade one question at a time. So if you start to grade problem one, this is a typical quiz final exam for me where I have 6 different questions. Each question is associated to a different topic, to a different outcome learning outcomes. And if I have 3 TAs, you see here, I'm almost helping all the grader, but I have 2 TAs. 2 are grading problem 2 and 3. 1 TA grading problem 2, 3, and 5. 1 TA grade problem 5. 2, 3, and 6, and 1 TA grade problem 5. As you see, because of this opportunity, you can reduce the time of grading. Another thing I want to say is, because you can reduce the time of grading, you can do more low-stake assessment. As I do 3 low-stake assessment during the semester in a large class, in addition to the final, obviously, at the end of the semester. But because of this opportunity to fast return the grade, that you can also improve the learning process, because you have tools that allows for creating the opportunity for low assessment. So one thing I want to share is, um, when you have an exam like with 6 questions as my final exam, you can immediately see the average of the overall assignment. And this is the average of the final exam of dynamics, the mean, the average, the standard deviation. But you can also have the statistic about each question. You can see how much student did do well for problem 1 from problem 2. So I have a different slides that show, for example, for problem 1, the average was lower than, no, was about 60, a little bit more than 60%. For problem 2 was close to 80%, even more. Problem 3, much more than 80%, and so on. So that is giving you an idea of the how much you how much you met the learning outcome. Remember, each question I associated to a different learning outcome. So the problem 1 was about energy method for rigid body. I see that the percentage on this problem was lower than 70. And so for me, maybe that is a concerning aspect that I want to resolve. I want to do more problem on this topic next time or next semester. Or maybe I want to spend more time to cover this problem. Or maybe I want to, in some way, create an opportunity so students have covering this topic much more before the end of the semester, so that they have more time to digest. So that information really helped me to readjust the portion of the course. But also, if you want to know exactly what happens for each problem, so what is the statistic at the rubric item level. So remember that for each question I can use a rubric, and for each item of the rubric I can associate a point. How student they did for each problem at this step level. So the Gradescope is allow you to show that. This is an example where problem 1, which was focused on energy method, you can see that the 20% of the students were able to respond well to the first step. Only 4% step 2. The step 2 is about define the datum line. Why this was not clear. So maybe I will use this information to address the importance of the define the datum line in using energy process. So that is really giving you some numbers, and so reflection for you how to can teach better some portion or can allocate more time. I want to give you also another idea. So the Gradescope allows also to create a keyword tag associated with which outcome learning, with each question. So you can reaggregate all these statistics based on this keyword. And so this is the screenshot that shows how you can see the grade for each different tag. So I don't know if we have more time. I don't know, because we start a few minutes late. I don't know if we have 5 minutes extra. I hope so. But I'm very close to the end of the end of the presentation, and I want to give you an example of how I used this Gradescope to improve my mechatronics class 2 summers ago. As you see, I offer student quizzes and final exam, and I decide to analyze different technical abilities. For example, how you can analyze electrical circuit using node voltage, how you can analyze alternate current circuit using phasors, how you can analyze circuit using fall. Okay, 5 minutes. So there are several topics. As you see, in the final exam, all the students perform much better because compared with the quiz. You see on the first ability, they perform much better with compared to the quiz. Same things for second and third ability. What I saw is that the last ability analysis using body plot and frequency response was not really great, and I was asking myself why this is happening. So I decided, based on these strategies, this analysis that I got from Gradescope, to allocate more time to body plot of the semester after, and to anticipate these topics so that was not too far close to the end of the semester. So when I make these changes, I noticed the students improve a little bit, but not so great as I hoped. So I realized maybe this is a topic which is too advanced for that student, or maybe because during the summer, I don't know, but the summer is very intense. So I have an idea how to make improvement based on grades and statistics I got from Gradescope. So I think now that is the conclusion. I think I want to uh, remind you that all these tools allow me to empower my teaching philosophy, my teaching strategy, where I want to create a learning environment for the student. I want to engage student. I want to make sure they feel supported by me. And in that context, a grading platform which is let's say fair for them. It's fast because they can get back the material very quickly, and also allow them to, without any issues, to ask for a grade request. I think all these things available in one single tool um, convince myself to say yes, that tools it's really fitting my goals I want to use. So I hope you will have a, I don't know, a new idea for new tools. Maybe you want to use for your classes, but I will be more than happy to connect with you and to discuss more. I know some of you also attend my previous presentation and want to talk to me. If we can stay on this platform for a few minutes, I will be happy to talk to you. And that is all. Thank you so much.